What do we have here? Bosch Powerpack 400. One of my first e-bike was a Scott with the Bosch system, and I had exactly this kind battery pack, but I never opened it up. This is not that battery, but it's another battery I bought from a customer. We're gonna have a look inside. This is made in Poland. They are using Torx. So we will be using Torx. Which size Torx? Not anti-tamper, and they are using 15. Oh, sure. I think these ones are just for holding the metallic plate, the locking mechanism in place. So I don't think you need to remove these two. There are only 4 screws if you don't count this one for the locking mechanism. Rubber list was not glued in here, it's just blue, so it really didn't need to cut that one. That was just unnecessary, and I can tell it's LG cells just by looking on the color. Here you can actually see they are not using FLTs, they are using wires. Dual. No? This is something they probably have made, because I do not recognize that at all. It looks like a tiny bullet connector, but this casing. Will it come out to play? Yes, it will. Oh, nice. You just pull it off, and it has 3 additional wires to this 5-pin connector. And they are wire bonded to the cells. And I actually like this config, but I don't like this battery. It's so hard to work with. There you have the BMS cables. A lot of component. I can't see any water damage. And where's the indicator button? There. Yeah, most likely completely dead. Not MG1, because it's 400 watt hour, not 500. So, positive and negative. How many volts are you? Oh, 2 volts. Yeah, of course you're not lighting up. They also have wire bonded these wires. I remember, I think I tried repairing one of these. You have to, you cannot solder on these wire bonded things. You have to cut them off and crimp them and make new ones. And that most likely is a temp sensor hiding in this silicone. BMS down here and holding it with a plastic disc. And the same type of screws that are on the outside. I think I might actually be able to repair this battery pack. But if I take it apart now, how will I remember where all the wires are going? Do they have a system? They have one going to one side and another going to the other side. And the gray one are temp sensor. Otherwise they should have, I'm guessing, 5 of each color. Start with the white on the positive, but they go in order from positive down here. White, green, brown, light blue, yellow, and the last one is black. So this one actually has 6 pins. The other ones have 7 pins because there is a temp sensor. And if we begin on the bottom, the brown one on the end is for the last block, and then we go in order to light green And then they have this mess, which are the dark blue one, which is the only color that is not identical to the other one. And then they have the yellow and white. So that's the config. And hopefully I will check this with you when it comes time to rebuild this, because otherwise there should be no problem, because most times it's low capacity. There might be water damage here. I think this is a really good time to use a microscope. I think that's water damaged. Yeah, and I don't have an ultrasonic cleaner, and I don't have the customer's name on here, so I can't check in the email what's happened. But here you see the springs. I managed to destroy half of them, 2 on each side as well. Okay, I will take it apart and I can use it for spare part, but the BMS is water damage, so this is a no repair at all. I won't waste time on it, because people don't usually sell me their old batteries if they're low capacity. They still hold on to it for sentimental values, even though they will never ever use it, since you can only go like 5 kilometers. So in most times I get this type of batteries, it's water damage. I think my GoPro battery is crying. It's always down to 0 for some reason. Always wants an extra charge. I can record 2 hours on the ship, but it can only record for 30 minutes before the battery starts crying. Charge me. Oh. But of course I'm only using the highest setting, so you can see all the crappy liquid silicone that is present. Liquid silicone. Then it might not be silicone, it's more like a paste. And I hate this because it gets all over the cells and it gets all over the fingers, and I don't know how to clean this properly. And all this one, you can tell this one is built by hand. Of course the spot welding is done by a machine, but these wires going through here, it's no way they have programmed a machine to do this. This is a human wasting its life away, pulling cables like this in Poland. Down and up, just like sewing, stitching and whatever. So what spare part can you use from this? If the customer drops the case, you can reuse the case. This one is actually pretty simple to reuse, especially the bottom part, which is most likely the one the customer will drop. And if the plug gets damaged, I have a spare one. And I can also remove wires from the BMS if I do another repair. So maybe it was not useless for me to buy this. And of course it's always... I managed to salvage these 4 cells from the Bosch battery pack. Almost all of them, 36 cells, were completely dead. But then I found these 4 little helpless cells in there, screaming, "Please charge me! Save me! Give me a little use!" So I decided to put them in my little Kala and try charging them up one by one in different cycles. And they were only 0.8 volts when I found them. And they're really hungry. But if they have too much internal resistance, the little Kala will not give them any more use. Do not give them the energy. So you can keep trying to push them up to 2.5. And the little Kala will sense that these cells can still hold their voltage. If they cannot hold their voltage, the little Kalas will not give them any more charge. So then it's no use trying to force charge them, because then they are already dead, and you should not force charge dead cell. But you can trickle them a little bit and see if they're willing to hold the charge that the little Kalas give them. But in this case they were less than 1 volt, and if they are less than 1 volt, then this kind of necromancy is seldom fruitful. You can go on for this like hours and they will still not charge them all the way up, because the cells won't actually hold the volt. I recently had some Panasonics that were very low. between 1 and 2 volts, but I managed to save all of them, and they are actually like new. So that was really exciting. And as you can see, I cannot get them up to 2.5 volts, and I cannot get them to stay at 2.5 volts. They just drop down to like 2.2 volts, and then they try to trickle charge them a little bit, and they will not accept it. Here you can see, trickle trickle, little star. A safe method to try and revive lithium ion cells, because first it will charge in the NIM settings, and then it will go up to lithium ion settings. But if you can't get them up to more than 2.5 volts, then they are goners. You can do like this, or you can just switch the slots as well. Switching to another machine. These are stuck at 2.34. This one is stuck at 2.3. Switching machines like this. Here you go. Now this one actually managed to get past the 2.5 mark. This one and this one. So switching slots or switching machines can also help you get over that threshold. So I actually managed to save these poor little cells that were screaming for a charge. Now they are old, they will probably have almost no capacity. You can see how fast they are charging. Still, it's 500 milliamps at a very low voltage, so they will go up pretty fast. But I will be able to rewind them up to 3 volts, and I will be able to test them. So I will make these cells a priority, because they were alive inside this Bosch battery for maybe 2 years without any charge. And I will try to give them a new good home. Before I can do that, I will have to test them to see that they're not just faking being alive. But if these were truly dead, or if they were having no capacity at all, they would charge to like 4.2 volts in a few seconds. So I'm guessing these ones still have like 1 amp hour or even more. They might still be in new condition. I do not recommend this type of battery necromancy, but it sure is fun seeing cells taken from the grave and then being re-entered into society as productive little cells in larger battery packs. Look at these happy little cells. Look how much they are eating. They are so hungry. They haven't been fed in maybe 2 years. Let's see if they have a fever. No, can check with the room temperature. It's usually kind of hot in here when I'm running all the chargers. So 25 is decent. I have a fan running. So 3 degrees over room temperature is to be expected. Let's check these B cells. They are running a little colder. They are running at room temperature. But then there are B cells. They have like almost 3.5 amp hours in capacity when new, and they have not been awakened from the dead. They're about 3 or 4 degrees over room temperature, and that is no worries. The other day I have cells that were like 60 degrees hot. Put them in the shame box. Here you are, the lilac sunny cells. They are seriously wrong. One of them refused to charge all the way up. It was whining at 4.1 and just evaporated every single charge we gave it into heat, going up to about 60 degrees Celsius. Stupid little fucking cell. Sits here in the shame box. Shame on you for not taking a charge. But these are fine. These are my new babies. I will not let anything bad happen to them again.